Greetings, I'm Danette Chavis and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're watching for the first time, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be the first to be notified each time a new video is posted. Well, yesterday I did a video on the Breonna Taylor grand jury proceedings and talked about the outrage being discussed nationwide over the failure to indict concerning her murder. The only indictment that was given was for one officer out of 3, and that was a 3-felony count indictment for wanton endangerment. The reason being because the number of bullets that officer fired into the home went clear into a neighbor's home, endangering their safety. But people across the nation are still trying to understand how in the world no indictment could be given for the murder of Breonna itself. Several calls have gone forth, including by the attorney representing the family, demanding that the transcripts be released. And just recently, an announcement was made that those transcripts are going to be released. It seems an unknown juror who served on the grand jury proceedings obtained an attorney and petitioned the court for the release of not only those transcripts, but any recordings that were held during the grand jury proceeding. They've also asked the court to permit all of the jurors to speak freely to the public concerning what was and what wasn't presented to them in order to obtain an indictment. They seem to have taken exception, and they claim that the Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, is making them the scapegoat, the blame as for the reason why no indictment was made. They want the truth to be told, and they want the release of those transcripts, and the courts have agreed. The court judge has ordered the Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, to produce those recordings and over to the court by noon this Wednesday. So we'll all get to see exactly what was presented to the grand jurors and what was not. If you ask me, my opinion on the situation, I don't believe that the Attorney General ever presented any evidence to the grand jury attempting to get an indictment. And the reason I believe this is because of the things that he stated out of his own mouth. He has held the position that the officers were justified in shooting, justified as a matter of self-defense, alleging that because Breonna's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired upon them first, that Kentucky law justifies their actions in the shooting that occurred. That may or may not be true, or at least it's partly true, but in another, not exactly true. Because a self-defense claim can be made when you are responding to someone shooting at you. It only covers you for the direct threat, which in this case would be Kenneth Walker. It does not absolve you from culpability or responsibility for any subsequent murders that occurred as a result of you acting in self-defense. In other words, they may have been covered for shooting in response to a shot allegedly fired by Kenneth Walker, but they are not covered because of the murder that occurred from an innocent victim, which would be Breonna Taylor. So the Attorney General, he told part of the story or part of the truth and clung to that and used it as a justification, I believe, to not present any evidence to the grand jury, giving them the opportunity to provide an indictment. I don't understand why many in this fight for justice who have been dealing with the issue of police for a number of years like I have, or even some attorneys, seem to be confused as to what happened here, because prosecutors habitually refuse to bring charges against police who murder. It's the reason why we're out in the street demanding that charges be made. It's the reason once a decision is made not to bring charges, that protests began demanding charges, because prosecutors habitually, they look at the evidence and they decide it's not doable. They say insufficient evidence exists in order for them to bring charges, and they don't do it. So marches and protests are held for them to bring charges. And I believe that that's what happened here in this case, based on what the Attorney General has said himself. Do I believe that he's right in the assessment that he made? Absolutely not. I believe the officers are culpable, I believe they're responsible, and I think that they should be held accountable, because Breonna was an innocent victim who should still be here today, and she's not. There are so many violations in this case that it would take hours to go over each and every one. But the total recklessness in this case, the way and manner in which they obtained the warrant, the officers who were on the scene, one of whom who worked for a previous police department and was fired with a recommendation to not be rehired. Out of 12 witnesses initially interviewed, all of them said no announcement had been made by police before they raided the home. One of those witnesses turned around and said they did make an announcement, and that's the witness they used. The ballistic reports were inconclusive. Kenneth Walker may have fired upon the officers, but did his weapon injure the officer? That has not been proven. There are several things that went wrong during this drug raid. Looking for a drug suspect who happened to be in police custody at the time that they committed the raid. I mean, I could go on about the things that occurred here in this case that are so far beyond comprehension that it boggles the mind. But I believe that the Attorney General dropped the ball on this, and I believe that when the transcripts are revealed, we will all get to see what happened and what did not. So, I'm Dan Chavis, and that's basically all I wanted to share with you concerning the breaking news that the transcripts are going to be released. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so now so that you'll be notified each time a new video is posted. I intend to do more of these videos in the days to come. Thanks for watching.